Okay, it's 6:30. I'm going to call to order the public safety meeting for April 9th, 2024. Roll call, please, Kathy.
Bergery,
Here.
Anderson,
Here.
Mensch, Rolfs,
Here.
Cahoe, Marcier,
Here.
Delar,
Here.
Miller,
Here.
Mayor.
Here.
8 present, 1 absent.
Any public comment? Nope. Auxiliary report. Okay, we will go to the fire department report.
Evening, everybody. All right, so we had 50 total calls this last month. We had 10 fires, which includes structure, brush, car fires. We had 6 first responder calls, 17 ambulance calls, 2 motor vehicle accidents, 6 automated alarms, 1 auto aid call, no mutual aid calls this month, 1 hazmat call, and 7 CO gas leak lines down calls. Training for this month, we'll be working on ropes and knots and EMS jump bags, pumping scenarios and policy reviews, search and rescue, and rigs and station and boat maintenance and policy reviews. A couple guys this month have taken some classes. Firefighter John Witzman completed his hazmat ops, which is a 40-hour class. Firefighter Drew Douglas completed his RIT under fire, and then Chief Byer completed his NIMS 400. New equipment, we got some new fire hose that just came in that we're going to be putting on the rigs. And then a couple miscellaneous things that we did this month. Career day at the high school. We actually had 2 more young kids sign up to be on the cadet program, so that is actually working out pretty well. So,
Cool.
that's all I got.
Okay, any other questions for him?
Can you tell me your name?
Lieutenant Brose,
Okay, gotcha. Thank you.
no problem.
Any other questions? Okay, Fire and Police Commission report. Nina's not here. Police Department report. Chief.
Good evening. Calls for May, 339. Miscellaneous railroad closure. I'm sure you guys have seen all the signs about a month or so ago with all the damage that we've been having uptown. Actually, IDOT had reached out to us and was asking us questions pertaining to how many calls for service and so forth we had with all the damage up there. So we were able to gather those numbers and send that to IDOT, and apparently IDOT and Union Pacific or Canadian National was able to apparently work on something where they're going to work on that. So I think the sign says they're going to be closed on the 22nd from Monday through Thursday. So hopefully people will pay attention to the reroutes and the detours, and hopefully they'll resolve that. Somebody notified me this afternoon that I guess there was some damage again to them this afternoon. So couldn't get here soon enough to get those repaired and fixed, but trying to get it done. So just want to touch base on that. Sergeant Marcotte, myself, had been attending the Citizens Police Academy, so working on putting a little thing together, so hopefully we'll be able to start that this fall, so that was very interesting to partake in. Drone school, we have 2 officers, Sergeant Harris and Sergeant Smith, signed up to attend. I think they told me it was ended up only being a 32-hour certification course through FAA. I did talk to Chief Byer and Lauren and also Eric about the usage of getting a drone and for all the departments to use together. The training that my officers will be attending will be free training through the police training unit, so it's not actually costing us anything to send these officers through. Unfortunately, it only pertains to law enforcement only, so I know I talked to Chief Byer. He was going to look at some different avenues, but and I talked to Lauren too. So hopefully in the meantime that once my 2 officers get that training that they'll be able to utilize them if the need be. Alderman Mercier has been kind enough to allow us to use his for training. We'll have to take one with us, so he's agreed to work with the 2 officers to give them some basic training before they get down there, to use one of his for the classroom, and then once we get down there to get some better feelings of what kind of drone we're going to need. So we're not really rushing into it until we really have hands-on and really know what we're looking for. But that's going in the right direction. Schools and training. Sergeant Harris got his annual canine certification done with Tucker, so that's done for another year. And Officer Corvu, did some proactive patrol and field interrogation training down in Bloomington this month. So that's all I got at this point. So, any questions?
What's the police call last month in April?
I don't have those numbers. I think it was probably within 10, 15 calls.
Okay.
So I think it was either in the 330s or 340s. So I think it was pretty much,
There is no significant.
no.
Okay.
No.
Alright.
So, I mean, which I guess is good and bad. You know, I noticed that we have had an uptick. I know I called Officer Spears a little bit ago with loud music. We've been getting an uptick here with the recent weather, with people calling and complaining about loud music. People are starting to get restless and turn their music up while they're working in the yard. So it's going to kind of be getting back into the swing of things, and people are going to have an understanding of, considerate with their neighbors and so forth like that. So, but I think, you know, these guys are doing a great job of educating everybody, and hopefully everybody will be on board, and, you know, it'll be a good year for us, so, good summer, so say. So, and then also just under other two, Nick Wars, our new officer, he went down and took his power test Monday down in Decatur. He passed it, so that was contingent, obviously, of him attending academy. So he got that completed, so he'll be leaving first week of May to attend academy. So he had to pass the power test, of course, first that the state has to do. So he got that completed. So
Good deal.
any questions?
Any other questions? No.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chief. Anybody else got anything they want to add?
Nope.
Anything? Nothing? All right. I guess I will call it a day. It's blanket out on me. We're done. I can't think straight.
You do adjourn?
Yeah, we're journeying.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, code enforcement. Call the meeting to order. Kathy, roll call.
Anderson.
Here.
Rolfs.
Aye.
Marcier.
Aye.
Delar.
Here.
Here.
Miller.
Here.
Cahill.
Aye.
Mensch.
Aye.
Baragry.
I think so. I'm here.
Mayor.
Here.
8 present, 1 absent.
Okay, do we have any public comment?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Sir, you want
Gentleman
to
walking
do
in.
public comment?
In a little bit. Sure.
Well, no, now's the time.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Walked in just at the right
Just
time.
walking right in.
Fine.
Perfect timing.
State your
Yep.
name for the record, please.
Sure. I'm James Lamphere. I'm here right now because I have a question, actually, and everything else. I have a trailer that's parked on my property that's adjacent to me that was bulldozed. And that's all I have is over there is a trailer on the unit, or the lot right there. And I have Eric Brandt over here telling me I have to move the trailer. There's no damage being done to the property, nothing of me like dropping construction materials or pieces of concrete. And I just don't think that I should be getting harassed in a way to where it's just me utilizing a property. Nothing is being damaged or destroyed. I keep the grass cut around my trailer and everything through the summer and along the side of my garage and everything. And I just want to bring it to attention right there that, you know, I think these lots that are just not being utilized, it's not being destroyed by my property with a trailer sitting on there, but I just wanted to bring it to your guys' attention too. We have other issues that are involved. I mean, if you go to the corner of 7th and Ash, I mean, they've put patch in the middle of that intersection so many times. There's easily about 10 to 15 potholes, but yet we have other people worried about me parking a trailer on an empty lot for whatever. I mean, it's just, I think we could use our resources and, you know, and if we have 2 inspectors running around town and they're worried about a trailer parked on an empty lot versus, you know, a town that actually needs a little more help with the roads and everything else. I think we really don't need 2 inspectors, to be honest with you, in my opinion. I don't know why we have 2 city inspectors and stuff right here, but I just want to draw it to your guys' attention. Like I said, I live at 494 East Ash Street. Eric had called me today and told me he's sending me a letter stating that he took pictures and everything else. Well, I found out from somebody else that he took pictures today and he's sending this stuff in the mail. But I just want to let you know that I feel that, you know, my trailer parked on an empty lot that's movable. There's nothing there other than a trailer sitting on there is doing any damage or harm to the city property, which in all reality, it belongs to the citizens of Watseka, all the tax-paying people that, you know, and I figure I still help out by cutting the grass over there too, you know, so, but that's it for me.
Okay. Just to kind of let you know, the lot that you're talking about is through a DNR grant.
Mm-hmm.
And we get a restrictive deed at the end of the program. So really, it's kind of a state's property until that gets deeded over to us. It's very restrictive, and it's very stringent as far as what can be done with that. We can't build on it. We can't do a lot of things with it. Okay,
Sure.
I'm just
I get
naming
that.
one.
Yeah.
It was a $5 million grant. We're about $3 million into it as far as buying and tearing down 75 homes. That's kind of some side information just for background for you. But we cannot put in jeopardy the remainder of this program. And I know what you're saying, as innocent as what you're making it sound. I get what you're saying, but it is very restrictive, and we just can't put in jeopardy the remainder of the program to get these things done because, you know, we're helping a lot of people get a fresh start with buying these repeatedly flooded homes and stuff like that. So, you know, the council, we can take this basically under advisement. And in public comment, we're really not supposed to talk back, so I'm kind of stepping out of bounds here
Well,
a little
that's fine.
bit.
I appreciate you doing it. I've made a couple phone calls to you and left you a few voicemail messages.
Yeah, and then
right there.
I got back to you, and I left a voicemail with the number that you gave me. One
Okay.
that came back wrong, and one I left a voicemail. So
Okay.
I don't know what to tell you on that. But as far as, you know, and I know this got into a side issue that really doesn't pertain too much with this as far as the 2 inspectors, but Eric has other responsibilities with the building, and he's our flood manager, and then Billy takes on the primary part of with the code and stuff, and Eric helps out with code is basically what we're doing. So right now we kind of feel like the positions are filled properly and stuff like that, but I mean that doesn't really pertain to the trailer. All I can say is we can take it under advisement. We'll talk about it, but probably, and just to be upfront with you, we're probably going to go with the position that Eric has with it, because I worked on getting the app filled out, but Eric has done a lot of the heavy lifting with as far as dealing with DNR and stuff. Eric, I mean, you can make a call down there and just see where it's at, but I imagine they're probably going to tell us that it's probably going to have to move, because right now those are not city property at this point. I know it sounds kind of different, but until the program's done, then we get all these restrictive deeds issued to us. And we still have about $1.7 million in the program left to do. So right now it's kind of one of those limbo things. And like I said, I'd rather be upfront with you. It may not be an answer that you're going to want to hear.
Well, at least it's
And
an
I totally
answer.
get what you're saying.
I mean, I'm getting an excuse from him saying, "Oh, the neighbors are complaining." I've asked the neighbors and stuff, and
Well, there's probably more to it as far as with the DNR. That's my concern. I can't jeopardize it for anybody's convenience.
I appreciate the answer. I really do. At least I know what your guys are going about it and everything else. And I'll move the trailer. That's all I really wanted to know, other than my neighbor is complaining. I'm so tired of hearing about my neighbors complaining. You know, I mean, they've beat that dog, you know, to nothing left.
Yeah,
So,
well, we got no control of your neighbors.
it's an excuse. There is
Well,
no.
Okay,
But
I'm
I'm
not
not
going
gonna
to
go
go.
down that
I
road,
think
I'm
we'll
just-
finish up with that, and like I said, I think we have good people in place.
Thank you for bringing it up.
But
Okay. Thank you.
Okay?
thanks.
Good night. Okay, moving on to Eric.
Thank you, Don. IDNR flood mitigation, not a lot to report there other than the state is working on transferring some more deeds to the city to bring us up to date. I believe there's approximately 22 properties left to be transferred to the city with the deed restrictions. Ordinance citations, 9 warnings, 4 citations. 440 East Oak, that's the fire that was put out for bids, and you guys approved the bid last month. I called the contractor up about the timeline on when the demolition is going to start. They've outsourced the asbestos abatement. That is going to start, or supposed to start, on the 18th of this month, and then demolition will happen on the 22nd. So that's a Thursday and a Monday. 520 North 2nd fire, that was put out to bids. We got 2 bids. One from Lee Farms Excavating, $27,700, and the other bid is KB&E 2 Incorporated, $16,200. That's Bill King from here in Watseka. Looking at the bids, you know, the Lee Farms bid is very detailed. KB&E 2 maybe less so. So we had some questions on whether all the structures and fencing and debris and everything would be removed from the site. Me and Don both called up Bill King, and he said yes, it was going to be removed, and he would provide us with a more detailed proposal before we sign. So it would be my recommendation to go forward with Bill King for $16,200.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Which one was it? King?
Barry,
Aye.
Cahill,
Aye.
Miller,
Aye.
Delar,
Aye.
Marcier,
Aye.
Rolfs,
Aye.
Anderson,
Aye.
Mayor.
Aye.
Roll call carried.
One additional on the 520 North 2nd. So that's going to go to a judicial sheriff's sale May the 13th, and the attorney has advised us to hold off on the demolition until after May the 13th. It most likely will become public or city property at that point. The public has an opportunity to bid on it, but the minimum bid is going to be in the neighborhood of $63,000, and the idea that no one else is going to bid on it, and it will end up with the cities. 306 West Oak, you know, that's been ongoing. The owners had initially agreed, and we assume they're still agreeing to donate it to the city, but they had to get the tenants out of there. As far as we know, that hasn't been done yet. I called the owners 2 weeks ago. They were going to check with their attorney and get back to me. They did not do that. I reached out to our attorney to see what his thoughts were. He put a call in to their attorney and did not get a response back. I called the owner again today and have not heard anything back yet. The house is in such poor condition, I think you probably could go for a demolition order. Well, I know we could get a demolition order. Would council be in favor of that?
Yes.
Yep.
Kind of push them over the edge possibly and get something moving over there.
Do we need to do a motion on that?
No, we're not really spending money, but let's just give Eric the go-ahead to get that rolling with
Do
Joe.
it.
Okay.
Is that all right?
Thank you. Adopt a lot, 426 East Elm. So Josh Douglas would like to adopt that lot. Josh doesn't live next door, but he owns the property next door. He owns 420, I believe it's 428 East Elm. His tenant would like to have the use of the lot, but you know, the tenant is unable to adopt it. It has to be the neighboring property owner. As long as Josh meets all the guidelines, I recommend that you guys,
Do you know how they're gonna use it?
I believe he wants to use garden is a big thing I heard. Put a garden on it. And
I
mow.
think we have done motions on these.
And
in the
mow.
past.
Mow.
And mow. I think we have done motions on these in the past, if somebody wants to make
Okay,
that in a second.
I'll move that we,
I'll make a motion.
It'll have to be approved at council also.
second.
Barry,
Aye.
Cahill,
Aye.
Miller,
Aye.
Delar,
Aye.
Marcier,
Aye.
Rolfs,
Aye. Aye.
Anderson,
Aye.
Mayor.
Aye.
Roll call carried.
Moving on, Kennedy Building donation. If you guys want to bump me out of this conversation, you can. If you want to ask me questions, you can. This is the old Kennedy Building on Young Avenue. The owners are wanting to donate it to the city just to get it off their hands. So that's,
We don't need another building?
Agreed.
Any other comments?
No, I mean, I see what Scott and Jenny are saying.
Yeah, it is.
There'd be some work to be done
upkeeping.
on it. There could be some commercial moved in there, but we got something that we're actually dealing with now. And I mean, the opportunity will probably still be there, because I don't think there's too many rushing to it.
There's a lot of issues there. I don't think the city needs to be any part of it.
I agree too.
Thank you, Benny.
Thank you.
Yami. I agree, 100%, yes. We don't need another building.
I make the motion to say no.
Second.
Second. Third.
Fourth, fifth,
We're not
sixth.
spending any
Kathy?
money, so I'll let the realtor know.
Miller,
Aye.
Cahill.
Aye.
Baragry.
Aye.
Delar,
Aye.
Anderson,
Aye.
Marcia,
Aye.
Rolfs,
Aye.
Mayor.
Yeah, aye.
Roll call
It-
carried.
It'd be nice if the owner would do the demolition on it.
Yeah, 'cause otherwise we're gonna end up paying for it.
Yeah, I mean, anyway, it'd be nice to find an oil well in the backyard too, so.
moving on, facade grant. We've got an application this month, 116 East Walnut. Craig and Julie Massey, they're looking to do, right now it's got a awning canopy in the front that has some wooden shakes on there. They're gonna remove that and put metal on, I believe a dark gray or black metal with some new soffit and fascia and I believe lighting, signage, and then new windows on the second floor. So the grant amount that they're asking for is $3,800.
So moved.
Second.
Kathy? Please?
Delar,
Aye.
Marcia,
Aye.
Rolfs,
Aye.
Anderson,
Aye.
Miller,
Aye.
Baragry,
Aye.
Cahill.
Aye.
Mayor.
Aye.
Roll call carried.
And then one more, I've got another. I've had a couple phone calls from a developer wishing to develop a solar farm on the west edge of the city, pretty much behind Walmart out there. One parcel is outside of the city limits in the county, and the other parcel is within the city limits. I haven't personally talked to the man yet. He calls me and leaves a message, and I call him and leave a message back. And but there is an inquiry out there. You know, it's a coming thing. It's something you guys are going to have to deal with sooner or later. There is a draft ordinance laying there, and I believe Ken Byer had some input on that, which is not in this draft ordinance concerning batteries, particularly lithium-ion batteries. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's going by a specific pamphlet, right? It's a specific pamphlet that all these farms with. Correct. Yeah, yeah. So, I don't know if you were done. Can I offer my 2 cents?
Jump in there.
Okay, so you guys see the blue outline, that's what we're looking at.
It's city property.
Part of that is in, or it is all in the city?
No, the blue outline is the city property.
Okay. And talking to Joe, you know, we have no place to go but east, get away from the river. I think the only way this deal gets done is we get the other parcel that's not in the blue for future development.
Now, development, you're talking residential, or you're talking solar farms, or?
Well, they would have to talk to us, but I'm thinking residential. I mean, if they add it to a solar farm, I guess, you know, we'd take that on a case-per-case basis. Because there's gonna be a little bit of input into the city as far as revenue stream. But I think in order to do the one in the blue, we need to have them let us annex the other in red.
Residential, I'd be all in favor of.
Absolutely.
Solar, I'd question if that's.
Well, that way we have some control over it too. Because there was another one that was gonna go west of town, correct? And the
About a
county thinks we
mile
have
out.
some say-so, but without this ordinance, and we gotta pass this ordinance also, we really didn't have as much say-so over that. And technically, what the county was telling us is that we would have control up to 1.5 miles from our city boundaries, and that's on wind and solar. So if we annex this part in, you know, chances are they couldn't do wind farm across the road, which I think is probably not a bad thing. So I just think it's a natural deal. If they want to do this, then the rest is going to be annexed into the city. We would have control over the situation.
Complete control.
But, huh?
Complete control.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then, you know, we can guard it, enough solar, but we want it for residential, commercial, whatever the case may be.
It's prime real estate for us for
I think
expansion,
so.
absolutely. It's a waste for a solar field, but.
Eric, are these people just looking all over for parcels or?
They've identified these two parcels, and I believe they've talked to the county already also.
I was just thinking, if you went like south of TP&W, we don't have any utilities or anything over there, which you wouldn't need for a solar farm. This area, we do have utilities around it and stuff like that.
I don't think they've asked for anything in that area, have they?
No, I was saying if they were looking, maybe we could steer them over that way or something like that. Around Geiger's is what I'm thinking about.
Eric, you're talking about everything in red. Are they talking about for solar?
Correct, the two parcels in red. He just gave me the parcel numbers, and that's the parcel numbers that came up. Whether that's all gonna be solar, I don't know. I have no idea. I haven't talked to the
Currently
man
owns
yet.
Barkers.
If it's gonna be all solar panels, and
down in,
how are,
Ira.
if it's gonna be all solar in red, we certainly can't make it residential, correct? If it's covered in solar panels, we can't do anything with residential because it's all covered in solar panels.
Okay, my understanding was just in the blue, is what they were wanting to do. They're
The
wanting to
blue,
do
the
whole
blue
thing.
is in what's in the city.
Oh, okay.
Correct.
They're wanting to do the whole,
They're looking
everything
at
in
both
red.
both parcels.
Still, we need to get this ordinance in order to have some say-so, because right now, they can or can't do
Cemetery
it.
property there.
Right now, we cannot issue them a permit for a solar farm.
No.
Solar, the way the ordinance is written, is accessory. So an accessory to, if you own this business, for example, Walmart has them on the roof, that's an accessory to their business. A solar farm is a standalone entity.
Business.
That's a lot of farm ground going out of production, in my opinion.
Okay.
And I don't know, how many acres is that in red, do you know?
No, I didn't do the acres.
Looks pretty big.
It's a lot of ground in solar panels that's gonna come out of production.
Again, I'm not sure if they're looking at developing the entire property, but he did mention those two parcels, and the one is in the city limits.
Well, the way I look at it is if they end up with it and they put a whole solar farm in that entire red area, who's gonna wanna build a home in that area next
That's
to it?
a good point.
Not a chance.
Right.
Somebody's
reason
gonna
I
look
was
at that
understanding-
and say, I'm not gonna have this in my backyard.
I was just understanding the blue.
No, everything in red's gonna be,
So
still,
with the ordinance, then it's still a special use, even as is ground mounted is now, but it would be a special use, so it would have to go in front of zoning to be approved, and public would have input, and you guys would have final say.
Yeah, if we want say-so, we gotta have the ordinance.
Okay, well, that's the step one then.
And like I said, with annexing that in, I would say that, I just can't see them taking all that for, out of production.
Oh, I can.
Well, what kind of, I mean, I'm just asking on the county, I mean, I know the county has one, what kind of revenue streams coming in from that one on Louis
Honestly,
K?
I don't know. I haven't heard of any.
Okay.
It's gotta be somewhere to somebody. I don't know what.
I'm not trying to be argumentative, I'm
Oh,
just
no,
trying
I'm
to
not
find out.
either. I'm just saying, 'cause I haven't heard of it, so.
Because the one that sits off in the blue, that's kind of off, but in the red, I could kind of see that being some pretty valuable, possible residential. And on the other side of the street, past, north of, Watsika Ford, that's where the folks that need the 5 acres to do that small truck stop, and there's only 3 right there, so. Okay, so let's get to the important part again, and Eric, correct me if I'm wrong, we gotta get something decided on this ordinance. Is
Yeah.
everybody pretty much in favor of pushing through this ordinance?
Absolutely.
So we get some say-so?
Yes.
You're not, Benny? Okay, go ahead.
I disagree with taking farm ground out of production.
No, I'm asking on the ordinance.
We need to move forward on the ordinance so we can prohibit them from doing this without our direct input. The ordinance is the first step into making this not happen.
Yeah, let's focus on the ordinance.
All right.
So I think they could not develop the city property and still put the solar farm in the county.
We can still annex it, go to annex it, and then prevent that as well. That
Oh, there
combined
you
with the
go.
ordinance.
I mean, both parts of that, Scott, are pretty important, aren't they?
Absolutely. But the
And
ordinance,
that's what I'm saying.
I've not read it all.
that ordinance
You're not
is
good at all? Okay, let's
very
hear it out.
important.
I'm just saying, I've not read the ordinance word by word.
Okay, but it's what our attorney prepared.
What the ordinance does is it allows the city
Say
the
so.
ability to have a say-so in this exact kind of a move. In other words, we don't currently have it. The only thing we have in any kind of an ordinance in regards to solar is saying, hey, Walmart, you can put one on top of your existing building because you're adding to your own building. We don't have anything within the city limits that prohibits somebody from saying, hey, you don't have anything that says we can't, so we want a, building permit for this. The ordinance would make it so they would have to at least go through this hoop in order to get to that point.
Let me piggyback on that, Scott. The state came in and did away with all these setbacks that these counties did on their own, correct?
As far as I know.
And with this say-so, if we annex that into the city, we push that back out further another mile and a half.
Yep, just like we could do the same thing with the wind
And-
farms.
And the wind farms, right now, if we don't have that, I
They can
mean,
go right up to the city limits.
exactly. So that's why the ordinance is imperative that we get done.
I understand.
Okay.
And this impacts both residential and commercial?
Yes.
This ordinance,
It impacts anything within the city limits.
just confirming.
Yep.
Because I can see a potential place where it might come in, and that's out by Uarka with all that green space that they have there, as far as asking, but,
Yeah, but if it's a space that we don't anticipate anything happening in, we have the option with the
that's in the
ordinance to
floodplain and
allow
they
them
can
to
do
go. I'd rather see stuff like this going into floodplain where nobody's gonna be able to do anything because it sits above it. And if it floods, it floods. When it drains, it still generates power. Where they're looking at putting it as prime real estate for us to develop. So we need that ordinance.
I'm in agreement. All right, so, it's not on the agenda. We need to get that.
What does it take to move that forward?
We've got the ordinance, so read the ordinance.
Put it on full council.
So we just put it on full council and vote?
Be here next
Were
month.
you guys gonna consider Ken's input, I believe, with what he wanted concerning the battery storage?
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
it
that's very-
mentions that NFPA pamphlet in there.
Yeah,
Right.
that's very important.
That's what he
That's
said
not
was
in the
key.
one that you have in front of you, that just came about yesterday,
Okay.
so.
Because I don't believe that every solar farm has to have battery storage.
Right.
So we
I
can
don't think
put
the
it,
one on Louis K does.
we can put it into the ordinance that prohibits the storage part of it and still allow them to generate power and put it into the grid. We don't need to have battery storage in the city limits. Our fire department can't handle it outside the city limits, let alone inside. So the monies that would cost is
Yeah.
outweighs anything that it's going to generate.
Well, and I don't think Louis K one has it, so.
It doesn't, as far as I know.
but the
That's
other
also
one-
not a huge one either, so not as
one out
anywhere
west
near
was
as
gonna
big as
have it.
this.
All righty. I'm good, so we'll put that on there, and I think we can get that passed next week.
That's all I have.
I have a question for you. 502 East, Ash, I believe that is, Hanford's. I see that house has all the block holes filled in, all this sort of stuff. So the foundation is done.
Foundation is done. She came in, I believe, last week, and she's been renewing that permit month by month
I see it on here.
for the elevation of that house. So
So
the
they-
elevation's done. She brought in her elevation certificate. She's gonna go back. There's a couple things that need to be corrected. Her next permit is gonna be for the decking and stairs to access the
You have
building.
some discretion on whether we issue or not again, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. I've asked him to do some painting. They've repaired the siding. They've got a painter hired. They gotta have 3 consecutive days of 50 degrees before the painter will
Those
start.
permits are good for how long?
30 days.
30 days?
The renewal. If I give her a deck permit, it's good for a year.
Okay.
So,
But anyway, so she
I mean,
is ready
she's
to
progressing.
finish it, is what I'm
They've been
asking.
progressing.
That's good.
Okay.
They blamed the house raising contractor for all their problems, so let's see what they can do now that he's out of the way.
Still be on the decking, probably.
Any other questions for Eric? We'll move on to Bill.
All right, good evening. Last month we had 3 crime-free rental seminars here in this actual chambers. Inoperable vehicles, sent out 2 owner notifications, 7 tow notifications, 7 vehicles were removed or now in compliance, 3 vehicles were towed to the impound lot, and 1 junk certificate was sent off to the state. We had 15 warnings for miscellaneous violations and 2 golf cart inspections. Any questions?
Questions from anybody?
Yep, I do. I guess I gotta ask Bill, why are you doing golf cart inspections?
It's easier with my schedule to work around and get with people. It just kind of made sense when myself and the chief kind of talk about it.
Well,
And
you know, about a year and a half ago, I gave you a list. Had 61 addresses on it that needed attention.
yes, sir.
There's 57 of those addresses still on it. I don't know how the golf cart thing got dumped in your lap, and I really don't care. But I think you got plenty to do without taking on some more. And as far as I'm concerned, this golf cart sticker is a crock of crap. It ought to be done away with. It serves no purpose. And if we're going to make the golf carts do that, then let's make the lawnmowers, the 3-wheel bicycles that some 9-year-old can drive up in your yard or down the sidewalks, or any other thing that's illegal that completely obeys all traffic laws. So let's inspect those 2 and make those people have insurances or fine them, one of the 2. Now, I hear plenty of you bitch about that same thing outside these meetings, but nobody wants to say nothing now.
I'll definitely say it about the lawnmowers.
I've said it about the lawnmowers as well.
It ain't just the lawnmower, Scott,
No.
and Brandon. It's all this crap up and down our streets and our sidewalks. And it's 24/7. I ain't nothing against you, Bill, but these golf cart stickers, to me, they ought to be done away with completely. They serve no purpose. What is the purpose, Mayor? You're sitting there shaking your head.
Generate money is my only thought. I mean, I'm just saying.
It's a safety check.
All right,
In my
let's do
opinion.
that on, let's do that on these
I'm
other
I'm
items.
assuming it's a safety check.
Let's do them
They
on
gotta
the other
have turn
things then.
signals, they gotta have headlights, they gotta have taillights.
You don't want to do them on the other stuff, though.
No, I'm saying that's why we do golf carts.
That's all I got.
I'm agreeing with you too, Dennis. I'm not saying that you're saying it wrong. We have electric bikes we gotta deal with.
So
that-
the
that-
I have a question. So for the golf cart, because I've never driven one, and do they have an engine in there?
Electric or engines, yes, they are battery operated or motorized.
I
You have to be 16 years
yeah,
old or
yeah, exactly.
you have to have a driver's license.
I feel like that's something that we do needed to kind of like keep an eye on it, because it's, you know, if you're not.
But Dennis's
operated
point
correct-
is, we have electric bikes, we have lawnmowers, pulling trailers, and they don't obey any traffic signals or any, they go down, up that
You got
sidewalk.
these gators, you got 4-wheel drive units, they do as they damn well please. And not a thing is being done about it. Nothing. But we're gonna worry about a golf cart that runs 7 miles an hour? Really? I didn't realize our priorities were that bad, I guess.
So
all I
Dennis,
got, Dio.
are you wanting to make a motion to
Get rid of
eliminate or
it?
abolish that? Is that what you're?
Yeah, get rid of that. It serves no purpose, Jenny. There's no purpose to have them stickers. And if we're
Yeah.
not gonna do it to everything, why do we pick on the golf cart owner? Them golf carts are not cheap. I'll bet there's someplace between 7 and 15,000. But you got some 9-year-old that can put a 3-wheel bike together out here behind an apple tree, and he can run it up and down our streets, and nothing happens. Not a damn thing happens.
I know one of the reasons that the $25 fee was attached was because these are not paying for gasoline, which pays road tax. So they're utilizing them like cars, so it's a trade-off. You're paying $25 a year, which is a lot less than what could be monies generated by going to the pump. So, I mean, that's just, I remember that was part of that discussion back then, and
Do we tax their electric, city tax? Pretty sure we do.
so,
Yeah, so I mean, they are paying
depends,
in some way,
could be.
shape or form. So,
So should we get rid of it?
I don't care really
wanna
what you
take a
do.
straw poll and see? I mean, it's up to Dennis.
Yeah, fine, take a straw poll. It doesn't, either do away with the golf cart or do everything. And inspect that.
Dennis, you're talking about lawnmowers, you talking about those that just ride them up and down the street, or you talking about somebody moving a mower from one?
No, I don't care if you
Lot
move
to
it
the other.
across the street to go mow your other yard, but hell, it's being used for transportation.
So in other words, if it doesn't have a deck on it, it's transportation. If it does have a deck, it's for mowing.
Or if it's pulling a trailer with people in it.
People in it.
Another reason those things are being used like that, the individual don't have a driver's license.
Yes.
So yet the golf cart ordinance specifies you must.
Yeah, driver's license.
Thoughts, concerns, Chief?
Problem is you can't enforce something that the state of Illinois doesn't require it. So, I mean, you can't discriminate against which lawnmower is we're gonna write tickets to today because it's got a deck or it doesn't got a deck. If it's got one person on it, 2 people. Show me anywhere in the Illinois Vehicle Code where it says that you can't drive a lawnmower on the roadway. Does a lawnmower, a bicycle, whatever else that somebody decides to jump on a horse, they have to obey the road signs? Yes, they do. There's no question about that. So.
Plus with golf carts, there's proof of insurance.
There's also proof of insurance or liability. Obviously, it's the same thing as if you got somebody riding a lawnmower. We've had people that we've arrested with on DUIs with lawnmowers. Can't write them a ticket for being on a lawnmower. You can write them a ticket for if they cause an accident. You can hold them accountable for it, but you're not going to write them a ticket for no insurance on a lawnmower. With golf carts, we do. So if the city chooses that they don't want to put some kind of stipulation on the golf carts, that's up to you guys. So
What's your opinion about that?
I wish I could wave a magic wand to solve everybody's problems all the time and stop all of this, but it's just the reality. Most of us are lucky enough not to be in situations where we can't find another need for transportation. You know, some of these people, they put themselves in those situations for DUIs or other things. There's people that drive lawnmowers that have mental issues, and they can't get a driver's license. So it's not as black and white as what it seems like. Same thing with the motorized scooters and so forth like that. We've tried to enforce that. We've tried to get some kind of prosecution before on those for people riding motorized scooters. We haven't been able to be successful with it. So I think it's 50 cc is what you have to have in order to get a driver's license, a insurance, proof of registration, and so forth like that. You know, we do the best we can with the terms that we have to work within. So.
But with bikes and all that, it's rules of the road.
Correct.
And you can't help it if they're not going to prosecute out there.
Right.
That makes it a
Think
little
we have
different
an
issue.
overabundance of golf cart issues, or?
We haven't had any that I'm aware of. We haven't had, I think I literally had one last summer where I had a person that decided to drive his golf cart up to one of our liquor establishments uptown and parked it right on the sidewalk. So I just happened to be working day shift that day, went and told me he can't park it there, and he moved it. You know, I don't know what he was thinking. He had some health issues, but it still wasn't enough to keep him out of the bar, but he still chose to go there. He had a driver's license and everything else. It was 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock in the morning. But, you know, I don't see a lot of golf carts on day shift. Most of the time, it's people in the afternoons. I haven't seen a lot of tickets come across. I haven't seen any reports coming across with people, you know, with problems with it. You know, have I seen people in wheelchairs? Let's go talk about wheelchairs if we're going to talk about this stuff.
True.
We got people in motorized wheelchairs that drive down Elm Street that go out to Walmart. Are we going to tell people hypothetically that they can't be in wheelchairs because if that's their only mode of transportation, but they have one of those big flags that whip around? I mean, I don't know how hard we want to push it. I understand that there's frustration. I don't like it as much as the next guy when I get behind, you know, especially in the evening when I get behind this particular lawnmower with the trailer pulling people on. It scares the bejesus out of me when I fly up on them and they got a slow-moving vehicle and they got two flashing red lights on the side. You know, but
So
we've had these problems
what
before.
was the original purpose that we have golf cart stickers?
It's an
It's just
annual
solely to bring in revenue, or
No.
like?
Not at all.
Annual inspection, it's another contact with our PD as far as rules. And I had the other one on the train of thought here.
Proof of
Annual
insurance.
and proof of insurance.
And that the vehicle complies with
Regular IVC.
turning signals, headlights, normal warning like the car has,
Correct.
and it's working.
Correct.
Where do the gators or side-by-sides fall?
The Gators fall into, I mean, with the updated
new
ordinance
ordinance,
that
we
you guys
approved it.
passed.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean,
Because
It's-
they go a lot more than 7 miles an hour. down the
right,
road.
but they still have to obey the regular speed limit. So, I mean, just because if they go 7 or up to 30, even if you guys would have decided to go with the side-by-sides, which you have. And we have a couple of those permits that we've given out, those permits too. Those go well above probably 50, 60, 70 miles an hour. But
Seeing
we
the-
haven't had an issue that I'm aware of once with anybody that we've given those permits out to. The permits used to be free. You know, it was because of the cost of going with these different stickers that we decided to up it to $25 or whatever it is now. Up until last year, it was free.
Because some
The
people
only thing
owned
we
them and
required people to do was come out and provide the proof of insurance to Kathy, get the inspection with us, and then we would give them this little laminated card. That was it.
I
some
understand.
weren't bringing them up for the annual inspection.
Right, that was the
Getting that
problem
done.
was is that there was really no proof besides literally stopping every golf cart we came across to see if they were compliant with it. We don't have a master list of all the golf cart permits, who they are, color, description. That's one of the things Officer Spears had come up with was, you know, once somebody maybe does it one time, that they get assigned golf cart number 1. And we know who that is, and they don't have to come up and get a new permit. We just look at it off this master list that golf cart number 1 is compliant or so forth like that. You know, so there's different ways that if we'd want to reinvent the wheel that we could come up with a better way, but it's just to make sure, I think simply is that everybody's compliant with making it safe and roadworthy and some kind of liability with it.
This gives our PD the opportunity to see that they are
Yeah.
compliant with safety
Okay.
aspects.
And the feature pays the legislative or the administrative costs to making it happen.
Correct.
When they have to pay that fee, nobody has complained. I've not had one complaint.
How many have you given out? Just out of curiosity, approximately, I know you probably don't have a number.
Ever since, I think, because Kathy wasn't very happy with me the next day or so after we had last month's city meeting or so, when we talked about bringing it to attention with warmer weather. I mean, we probably got 10 within the next day or so.
Really?
Of people being compliant, coming
Yeah.
out, filling it
And
out.
Milford charges 100.
Well,
So,
other places charge a lot more than that.
It's a safety aspect.
but again, I mean, you know, there's all kinds of, people spend way too much money, too much time trying to find a way to get around the system with being inventive, different modes of transportation. So, I get
On the
it.
Gators we were talking about, that gives folks out in the country a chance to come into town and register, and
Right.
because but no four-wheelers.
No.
That's where the kids get
No,
crazy.
because if you read the ordinance, it pertains specifically with the steering mechanism on in the ordinance, it eliminates the ATVs. I believe it says something along the lines that it has to have a steering wheel, a steering column, and ATVs don't.
I understand where
handlebars.
Dennis is coming from. When these people have $10,000 golf carts, they're usually gonna be in compliance, they're usually gonna be roadworthy.
Right.
They're gonna have all the necessary requirements to be on the road.
Right.
So,
And like I said,
I understand where Dennis is coming from, that, as far as that goes with that. They're not driving a
But you also
bicycle.
see kids behind the wheels of these things too.
And they're not supposed to
And
be.
they're not
That's,
supposed
that's
to
the
be.
problem where we are addressing with those people when we find those kids being there, is eliminating that threat. You know, these guys are getting calls about these kids on four-wheelers and so forth like that. Same thing with the motorized bikes. You know, we try to hold the parents responsible for it because it's not like the kid bought it. More than likely, he got it from his parents, and his parents aren't educated, so say.
Can we do anything with municipal court as far as giving the parents a $50 fine?
Yeah, but I think we could, we can. The thing about it is most of the time that if we go and talk to the parents, most of the time they're pretty understanding, and they understand that their kids aren't allowed to do it. You know, we
Maybe
have
on
a lot of people that are moving into town that aren't even aware that you're not allowed to really be driving any of those kind of vehicles on your private property. You know, I had a gentleman about a month ago that was pushing an ATV down the road. I just happened to ask him if he needed a hand or if he was having problems with it, and he said no, that he was pushing back to his residence. And I mentioned to him that, you know, that with obviously, since I didn't know him, that I would try to make him aware of the ordinance pertaining to ATVs and usage even on private property, on your own private property inside the city limits. You know, he wasn't aware of it, but he argued with me that it's his property, he can do what he wants to. And I said, well, I think Officer Spears was actually working that day, so I gave him a heads up of where the gentleman lived at and the area was. So if we got called down there, that he was going to unfortunately be gifted a $150 ticket because he's already been made aware that it's been an issue. So
you're saying a repeat offender would get a ticket?
yeah,
Municipal ticket?
yeah.
I can
It's a
understand that.
case-by-case
Right, and
basis.
like I said, I can't give you a yes or no or black and white answer on every single thing, and that's why there's a lot of officer discretion. You know, you got to take in consideration, you know, if people are understanding, if they want to be rebellious and be argumentative and, you know, then they're probably talk themselves, as they say, they talk themselves into a citation. You know, if they're understanding and they get it and it's a simple misunderstanding, then we can give them benefit of the doubt. So.
Okay, does anybody want to make any motions on this?
No, I'm even sorry I brought it up, to be honest with you. We've listened to a half-hour excuses now.
Anything else? I move to adjourn. All in favor? Aye.
Oh, hey, Dennis.
Getting like me, like me at the end of the meeting, because I couldn't